Hey folks, and welcome to another Workbench Wednesday. Now, this one comes at a kind of timely crossroads because the next video that I do, the next actual how I paint things, will be number 450. And I ran 450, man. I ran the numbers on it, and what that means, I've been doing this for almost 7 years. I think it's a little over actually. Even if we do count that as a full 7 years, that means there is more than one video every week for those 7 years, which is just ridiculous. Really putting into perspective how much time and effort has gone into this channel over the years. Because as I was doing the World War I German fella just the last video, I was really thinking about how much time I've put into a lot of the research and stuff that goes into behind the scenes. Because quite regularly I'll mention that when you are painting, historical miniatures, uniform isn't. Once you hit field conditions, you can eyeball the color that you want almost any uniform to be, and it will be close enough because between sweat, wear and tear, rain, sunshine, all sorts of things happen to colors. So close enough literally is close enough. But if you are looking at how to branch off from reality, I think someone in my position where folks come and ask, what is the correct color? I should put the work into making sure that I give you good advice as a starting point that you can then branch away from. So there's a lot of research, a lot of time spent behind the scenes of me making sure that I've been getting things right. And that's particularly in the last few years, but even from the early days. Now, what it does mean is that I want to do something cool for number 450, but I'm actually at a complete loss of what I want it to be. Now, one that I want to show you is that I finished just yesterday. This is General McAuliffe. He was the open day special miniature from Warlord Games, and they made sure that if you couldn't attend, you could actually order him online on the day that the open day was being held. So I could not make the trip to England just for one miniature, but I did still get to pick one up. And I thought that was quite a nice touch, actually. And I finally finished painting him. He was a lot of fun. Definitely more work than I would ordinarily put into my regular troops. What you're looking at for his uniform, the jacket and the trousers, they are all ivory mixes into the base colors to do the highlights. The skin, that is pretty much all of the rose skin line from the army painter. Moonstone skin I picked up recently and have discovered that one's really nice. That's definitely one to have in the collection. But yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. The Screaming Eagle on his shoulder, if I'd been smarter about it, I would have shaved the sleeve flat and then gone ahead and popped a transfer on there. But eyeballing that from the distance, that'll be fine. And once I had gone ahead and written the famous message on his little sheet of paper there, it was Mrs. Sledge who came over to me and said, well, why didn't you just grab a pen and write it on there? And I don't know quite how to articulate the noise I made at that slow breath out of, oh, God, I suppose it would have been easier. But I am very pleased with the result there. He's going to look cool at the front of an army or at the back, probably more likely. So yeah, I had some fun recently. But that doesn't answer my question of what on earth am I going to do for 450? So I've got a few options here, and I'm going to run through a couple of them. So this chap here, now the same as when I did the Foot Knights from War Games Atlantic, I did 3 of them for a video. I've got another couple of these fellas assembled. These are the Foot Sergeants. Now I'd quite like to do these. I am looking forward to painting a couple of these for the channel. But if I do this fella next, it's going to be 4 War Games Atlantic videos in a row. Now, I'm not averse to that because they make really cool boxes of plastic. But I think a little variety probably wouldn't hurt. That said, be on the lookout for these guys coming up soon because I really want to get a video out on them. Related to this, but I haven't actually assembled any yet, is the Islamic infantry and cavalry from Victrix for the Middle Ages, the Crusades line. Those are fantastic. Likewise, really looking forward to doing some of them. But again, I got to do my research. That's the That's normally the bottleneck when I'm doing these historical miniatures. And in the realm of a couple of other weird things, this chap, I do need to finish cleaning up. You can still see some of the supports lurking there. But this hard suit is from Skullforge Studios, and they are the guys, you've probably seen me do a couple of their Star Wars miniatures on the channel, but they've branched out and they're now doing a whole range of miniatures for a game that's also coming out alongside, I think it's You know, I'm not going to embarrass myself by saying the name wrong. I just won't say it at all. And I will link in the description to where you can go find these guys. This was last month's Patreon offering, so it's not up on their Gumroad store yet, but keep your eyes peeled because these funky anime-inspired like hard suit things, I can see them working really, really well as like giant robots for smaller scaled miniatures. So I just think it's great. I really want to paint it because I think it's a cool miniature. Really looking forward to it. I'm not 100% certain what I would use it for, and I think that's what's holding me back a second from doing this as the next video. And then, of course, lurking in the background the entire time, the ubiquitous T55. Now, these are actually really interesting. As I was doing the reading on the T55, it just became apparent how much more there is to these venerable old tanks than it seemed at first. They always struck me as kind of a joke, but they're actually, you know, when they came along at first, the NATO forces that spotted them were concerned, is the polite way I'll put it. And the design has been trooping on ever since they were introduced. They are still in service in some places around the world. So part of me, having done the Soviet troops recently, you know, it would be cool to do a Soviet tank. And having done US Marines for the Vietnam conflict, likewise, doing something like an M48 or an M60 for the American side would give you quite a few options for either playing Vietnam or Cold War era games, or doing it as imaginations, fictional nations, and conflicts which have never taken place. You know, Soviet equipment ended up in so many armories that if you wanted to do warlords somewhere in the world and just play some fictional battles, then that would be a really easy way to add a couple of these to your collection and have some fun. Now, this one is a print from Bob Mac 3D. This has come off of my own machine, but there are plastic ones available too through Rubicon. So yeah, this might be something you'd be interested in. I don't know. I love the old Soviet tanks. I think there's just a classic tank look to them. I know that sounds so stupid now that I say it out loud. But yeah, that's the thoughts at the moment. Coming up 7 years, 450 videos. I want to do something cool. Yeah, let me know what you're thinking, because I am kind of curious. Whether or not I've actually got the means to do some of what folks will suggest, we'll have to see. But all the same, let me know in the comments below what it is you're painting at the moment as well. I always love hearing from folks about what the hobby's doing at the moment. So a nice quick one for today, just to say hi, see how you're all getting on. And yeah, you see my little fuzzy wrists here. It is so cold at the moment. But yeah, hopefully you're a little more comfortable than I am, folks, and you all enjoy the rest of your day.